All right, welcome to the Armchair Commanders podcast. My name is John,
And I'm Jack.
and this week we're reviewing the, I believe, 2011 film, The Devil's Double, which is a film starring a bunch of actors I've actually never seen before, and is about a body double for the son of Saddam Hussein.
Yep.
And Jack, what did you think of this?
Man, I wish I was the son of a Middle Eastern dictator.
Oh,
Not really, no. But yeah, it's interesting movie. And it's interesting that you picked this because a week before you picked this as our movie, I was down one of my insomnia Wikipedia rabbit holes, and I somehow ended up on the page of Uday Hussein, the topic of this movie. And holy shit, his Wikipedia page reads like a Far Cry villain. Yeah, like everything in the movie, the gold-plated AK-47s, the fancy cars, the killing people at parties.
right. No, it definitely is like everything you see in this movie, you're like, I totally believe that this is something the son of a dictator would do, but also it's hard to wrap your head around the fact that there is legitimately a person like this out there.
Yeah.
What was uh what was the most like shocking aspect of this film for you? Or what was the most shocking scene?
Hmm. Might have been the rape of that one bride, or it could have been the death of that schoolgirl that he was raping.
Oh yeah,
The
there
rape
was a
was,
lot of raping going on in this film.
yes, there was. True to his character, at least.
I remember going on to Uday Hussein's Wikipedia page, and there's a section in it that says it says sexual assault accusations, and all of them are like air quoted like alleged. And I'm like, I don't think you can have like 30 plus allegations against you and not have a single one of like at minimum one of them is real. Like, come on, guys, we don't need to put alleged in front of all of them.
Yeah, yeah. We can use our best judgment on this one.
Right. The thing I genuinely don't get, like, so I understand he's like a gross person or a gross character, but like when he is following behind a group of like literal schoolgirls in his fancy little car, and he's like, "Hey, you have pretty hair. Come ride in my car with me. I'll take you home." And it's like that almost just seems so over the top and blatantly just like kind of gross, or it's like it's what you would imagine like catcalling in like New York City to be like, and you're like, this can't really be true, but apparently it's because like if you remember going down that rabbit hole, that's how one of his assassination attempts uh was plotted, was by following his habit of trying to pick schoolgirls up.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
For
I'd
me,
just,
the or go ahead.
I was just gonna reaffirm that yes, I definitely believe that.
Right. For me, the most shocking scene in this movie involved actual electricity. Um, it's near the beginning when our uh, main character Latif is brought in, and he's like accepted the role to be Uday's body double. And I forgot what character it was, but somebody associated with Uday like brings him into a room with your stereotypical crappy '90s TV, and he puts on like like a literal snuff film from Abu Ghraib,
Yeah.
and there's multiple different like atrocities that you see in this film, and one of them is a woman who is tied to a metal bed frame, and it's just the metal bed frame, and there's an Iraqi soldier who's like clipping a car battery to it so that the entire like bed frame is electrified, and you just hear this like terrifically awful scream of pain, and like she's bouncing up and down because of the electricity. And it was at that moment my wife walked into the room as I was watching this film, and she just sees a half naked woman getting electrocuted on our 55-inch screen TV, and she's like, "What the fuck are you watching?" I'm like, "I swear to God, this is a film for the podcast. Don't kink shame me."
Babe, it's not what it looks like.
Right? I swear it's just about an Iraqi dictator.
I'm sure the fact you were naked didn't help.
No, no, it didn't. I,
The peanut butter was a bit harder to explain as well.
yeah, and I mean, there's the whole deal. I had covered myself in olive oil, and it's just,
It's awful rude of her.
yeah. I put a sign up that said "Do not disturb." Never mind, I was in the living room, but
You know what happens when you violate do not disturb, right? You get disturbed. That's not on me.
right. I will not be kink shamed in my own home.
Yeah, I watched it with my good buddy Steiner, who was with us on our Star Trek episode, and he cooked us up some good ass ramen noodles, and it was nothing like eating fulfilling noodles and binge drinking while watching torture.
Acts
And
of terror.
yeah, acts of terror and excess. There's one part that I should mention, that scene where he's trying to get him to shoot, was it, I think it was Kamel, and he like picks up Latif, and it's very obviously not Dominic Cooper, and it's very clearly that his head was CGI'd onto whoever they had wearing the green morph suit head. And
Right.
it was just so jarring and fake that I just laughed.
I will say that it is something generally overall they did very well in this movie. Is so both Latif and Uday, the main characters in this film, are played by the same actor, Dominic Cooper, and most of the time they were pretty good about making the transition between the two characters rather seamless. And there's plenty of scenes where they're side by side, and you're like, oh, this is some good or clever filmmaking. But yeah, that particular one was not done very well.
Yeah, and you could even tell like they tried to keep them a bit out of shots together. Their
Right.
best. Mm. What else? Man, the food. I was focusing on the food, but maybe I was just hungry.
I guess I wasn't really focusing on the food in this film.
Yeah, at the party it looked amazing. Well, at least it
Oh,
did until that guy
like the catering tower until the dude got filleted
disemboweled
open.
on it. Yeah, it was good
You know
till
what's
that point.
right? You know what's crazy about that party is if you look it up, the party where this incident occurred was for the wife of God, what was his title? He was the leader of Egypt for the longest time, Mubarak.
Something like that.
Yeah, he ended up getting overthrown in like 2010, 2011, I think. Whenever the Arab Spring occurred.
2011.
Um yeah, but it maybe I just missed it, but I thought it was just a random ass party, but it's crazy to me to think that like Uday Hussein is at somebody else, like a birthday party associated with another Middle Eastern dictator and gets away with, just slicing a dude open. There was a difference though between uh, the story via Wikipedia and how it's portrayed here. Like in the movie, he does it with like this just a sword, which where the fuck did he get a sword? But that's beside the point. Um, in real life, it's reported that he did it with like one of those electric like turkey carvers.
Isn't that what he used in the movie? I could have sworn it was.
No, it was like a giant ass knife or a sword type deal.
Okay. Yeah, I fully believe that. And yeah,
Horrific either way.
he did actually kill that guy.
Split him open just like a tauntaun.
It was really more. What was even more shocking is he crawled inside him for warmth.
Yeah, it was weird because they're in Iraq and it's already a warm country.
I did find it odd that he took the time to pause and say, "And I thought they smelled bad on the outside" before crawling in.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug, kids. Don't do it.
Man, and yeah,
Also,
and that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I love the depiction of drugs in this film where he has just like literal mountains of cocaine just everywhere. It's like
Yeah.
this is my desk drawer of cocaine. This is my party cocaine.
Hey, man, you gotta live it up.
Here's my poolside cocaine.
Cocaine. It's a hell of a drug. Rick James.
Rick James. So, what did you think of all of the? It's fun. What did you think of the cars in this film?
Man. Yeah, I read about Uday's extensive car collection, a good chunk of which he straight up stole.
Well, I mean, when you're the son of a dictator, you can do whatever you want.
Yep. Yeah, it's he had quite a few.
I found it interesting because the film stayed true to form and they stuck with like 80s and 90s cars, and like seeing a 90s Ferrari. Honestly, it's kind of it looks like garbage if we're being honest. I'm like this isn't a cool car. Like
What car was it?
it was like a 90s Ferrari or something like that.
Hmm. It was fashionable at the time. The 90s were a different time.
Right.
One thing I'd like to mention was he meant Saddam. Yeah, he mentioned something about Saddam calling it the mother of all battles, quote unquote. And at back then, you read The Far Side, right?
No.
Oh, it's hilarious. It's a newspaper comic by Gary Larson,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. I've read bits and pieces or in
he
the Sunday papers.
around this time he published a cartoon where it's a pizza guy hit with a big ass pizza coming into Saddam's war room, and he calls out, "All right, who ordered the mother of all pizzas?" And that reminded me of that. The quote unquote mother of all battles that wasn't.
Right. I think this is if I'm not mistaken, I think this is one of our first films that we reviewed where it's a war movie and yet war isn't center stage. It's an ancillary set piece, if you will.
Yeah, plot device. Not the main plot device, mind you, just a thing.
And mind you, I wanted to discuss this with you, but do you still think after watching this that this should be classified as a war film?
In a loose sense of the term, yeah.
Because I personally think that although it's not the primary set piece or the primary story, our main character is brought to Uday from the battlefields of the Iran Iraq War. It's an ongoing conflict. It's something that's basically this in the Gulf War. They're both present in the film, um, but I think it shows very well the aspect of like a dictator's life where a dictator can participate in these atrocities and in wars like this and yet still be so like utterly removed and like uncaring about it, like because we focus a lot on Uday Hussein's like party lifestyle, but we still get assassination attempts on him. We see bits and pieces of the ongoing conflict and how it's having ramifications in the country. But because of that separation, we can see like to them, war is just numbers on a paper. Like there's no real consequence to them.
Yeah, they have that degree of separation away from it that makes it impersonal. And correct me if I'm wrong, but this was back when Iraq had the fourth biggest military at the time, and then they got fucking smacked down in 4 weeks.
Yeah, so at the time that the Gulf War occurred, they had it was like the fourth or fifth largest army in the world, um, and it was modeled after the Soviet army. So Soviet technology, Soviet armor, all that stuff. Um, so when the United States went in during Desert Storm, it honestly was kind of like a good practice round because we're like, well, we have a Soviet style army that is not exactly comparable in size to Russia, but pretty significant in size. And we were able to mop the floor with them in just a couple of weeks. So after that, everybody's like, "Oh, we probably do pretty well against Russia," which holds true today if you look at how Ukraine's going.
My God.
Like one non-NATO nation is just absolutely shit canning them. Like, yeah, we don't have to worry. But I think something that often gets forgotten about or overlooked is that the whole reason that Desert Storm and Desert Shield occurred was because Iraq invaded Kuwait. The reason Iraq invaded Kuwait was because they borrowed a shitload of money from Kuwait during the Iran Iraq War. And at the end of the Iran Iraq War, Kuwait's like, all right, pay up. And it was at this time also that Kuwait was outproducing Iraq in oil. And Iraq's chief export at the time was oil. So you have a country who is outproducing you in your chief export, demanding more money for you, and now you can't accrue that money. So Iraq was like, screw it, we'll just take Kuwait, and therefore we will not have to pay them back. So, but I
Yeah, and they
mean, the they definitely had enough resources to take over Kuwait, no problem. But when the U.S. and its allies went to go kick Saddam out of Kuwait, they were facing a massive army, but they were facing an army that had been ravaged by almost 10 years of war and was very much a shadow of itself.
yeah, and I assumed they made up the lies about, oh, Kuwait stole this and this from us. We got to go take it back. It's our duty for Casus Belli.
Yeah, right. Or the or when Latif is giving the speech as Uday and he's like, Kuwait is actually just Iraq. We're just bringing them back in. Like,
Yeah.
tell that to the Kuwaitis. I'm sure they don't consider themselves Iraqis, but and like the whole Iran Iraq thing is its own bucket of worms to unpack in and of itself. But just dictators versus dictators trying to be the most dictator is essentially
Heavy on the
the easiest.
dick.
Yeah. Speaking of dicks, what did you think of the scene where Saddam almost castrated Uday after he killed his buddy?
Cathartic, but he didn't lose his dick in real life. He just got shot in the leg and walked with like a fucking limp. Could barely move for the last couple years of his life. And yes, I researched this.
Yeah, not the assassination attempt. The scene where he's in the hospital
Oh, that.
and Saddam comes in and is like, "I'm going to cut your dick off," and the doctor's like, "No, you can't. He'll
Bleed
bleed to
everywhere.
death. Bleed to death? Question mark." And Saddam's like, "Huh."
Sounds about right.
Which the doctor, like, props to him for being a bro, but also, what do you care?
Man, I hope he rewarded that doctor thusly. Probably not, though.
No, Uday did not seem like the kind of guy to reward thusly. But you joked about how you wished you were the son of a dictator. The thing that kind of there's a lot of things that bugged me in this film, and it was just from a moralistic standpoint. Uh, but I'm totally cool with them portraying Uday Hussein as this like over the top, evil, insane person. Like that's not an issue. I believe that you know a person who is son of a very rich family, basically in charge of the government, can do whatever he wants and has never been told in his life is going to act that way. The thing that bugs me is that random ass dude pulled in from the battlefields because he bears a resemblance to Uday to be his body double. Like, I can understand him initially being like, yeah, I don't want to do this because, a lot of people didn't like the Husseins. But the idea that this dude is a paragon of like a true northern moral compass is just ridiculous to me. Like the only time he really falters in all of the like he is offered Uday's wardrobe, his cars, anything he wants. He's given just like one ground rule, which is if Uday likes a girl, you don't get to go near that girl. And that's his only fault or air quotes fuck up is that he starts banging Uday's like pseudo girlfriend who's not really his girlfriend, just his like main hoe. Like really? But everything else he's always like, why would I kill him? He's done nothing to me. Or like, I don't need your watch. Da-da-da-da. Like it's all like come on. Like there's not I cannot like don't get me wrong. I think there would be a turning point for everybody. But anybody put in that position, I think, for at least a day would indulge the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, and the fact that he was always high and mighty throughout the entire film kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. Like you can portray somebody as a good person while also showing they have flaws.
Yeah. Yep. And he destroys that dude's sex tape to protect him. What a bro.
Real bro move.
Mm-hmm.
Also, can I say that like Uday's like chief ho not really an interesting person, or I don't see what the desirable aspect of her is.
I honestly forgot about her until now.
Well, she's such a forgettable character.
Oh, very.
Like she, her like number one job in this film is just to like sit in the corner and look all sultry as Uday does his shenanigans.
Yeah.
I did find it a little funny because at the end she goes into this big speech about like, oh, you're no better than Uday. You just see me as Uday's whore, and he's just like, you're the one that called him and told us where we were at after we ran away.
Yeah,
And it's like
asshole.
he's got a fair point. He's like, she's like, I was scared. And it's like, that's why you ran away with me. It's because you were scared of him. And now that you've run away, you're scared that you run away, so you need to go back. Like you are a pointless character in this.
Yeah, she was just there to be a potential love interest, then betray him so he can get the plot moving. But and man, that ending that was like, he's still in hiding to this day. No, he's fucking not. He agrees to
No,
interviews all the time, and like we know where he is.
he.
He's very open about his life.
Oh yeah, and this movie is based on his book
Yeah, and most of it
because
we just
he
have to
wrote.
take his word for it.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to discuss because I don't know if you had read kind of the issues that have come up in regards to his story.
You know I can't
Um,
read.
oh yeah, that's fair. But so the real Latif claims that he served as a body double for Uday Hussein,
Yeah.
and the Saddam Hussein family was known for using body doubles, and it like that wasn't a secret. Um, but like everybody associated with that regime who is still alive after the fact has said that Uday never had one. Um, there was also a CIA guy who was operating in Iraq who, CIA dude does what CIA dude is, which is he gets informants and he gets contacts in the country. And he also stated, he's like, yeah, in all my time of serving over in Iraq, I never had any asset come to me and say, hey, there's a body double for Uday. Um, even Latif's ex wife has stated publicly that she doesn't really believe Latif's story. And basically, the real Latif's argument back towards this is my job was a state secret. Of course, everybody would deny it, which is which is like,
Cop out.
yeah, it's like, of course I have a girlfriend. You just don't know her. She goes to a different school.
That's exactly the argument he's using. Which I don't know about you, but we used to dunk those kids' heads in toilets. They give they give us guys with RuneScape girlfriends a bad name.
Right. So
Pretty
yeah, I
Girl
mean,
9079 is real to me, DP.
as long as you believe in it.
Thank you.
So yeah, this film, I think it's interesting because I think it does what I imagine is an excellent job in displaying the lifestyle of a dictator's son. And it shows I think it's a great film in demonstrating who Uday Hussein as a person was. However, the flip side of this coin with Latif at time, like there's definitely parts in this movie kind of going back to that like moral high ground thing. It is unbelievable at some points. And it's like, also really, Latif, like you're going to claim to have been part of the assassination attempt that crippled Uday? Like, come on.
Come on.
Like just because you were in the Iraqi armies doesn't suddenly make you like James Bond and shit.
It does to him. Does to him. So yeah, it's well established that this dude is dubious at best as a source.
Yeah, and obviously we don't have Uday around to confirm or deny this. So,
Well, he
because
got killed.
oh yeah, he got fucking waxed off the face of the earth. Like
Yeah, I read about that.
you
Damn.
should you should look you should look at the photos from the house that him and his brother were holed it up in. For those who don't know, Uday and his brother were found by an American task force during the invasion of Iraq, and the United States essentially leveled the entire fucking building that these guys were in. So they are very much not around to tell any kind of story.
That's putting it lightly, yeah.
I will say that watching this movie brought back a very distinct memory for me because during the invasion of Iraq, I was about, I want to say like 8ish years old. And there wasn't really good monitoring of my TV usage as a child. Um, but also, like, from 2001 to 2005, it seemed like every single day was some sort of major news day. But I remember very clearly the day that Uday Hussein and his brother were announced as being dead on the news. Because I remember CNN being on the TV and they just had like some random B roll of fighting in Iraq going on. And I just remember the headline being Saddam's sons killed. And so I remember that B roll. And I very clearly remember as they're saying, yes, these two individuals have been killed. And then the news started listing crimes that these individuals had done, one of which was feeding people's feet into meat grinders.
Fuck.
Which, yeah, A, that's horrifying, and B, super specific for the news to just throw out there. It very much sounded like CNN was trying to justify, like, yeah, we had to kill these dudes. It's like, no shit. They're upper echelon part of Saddam's regime. Like, you really think anybody's going to ask for the why of why you killed Saddam's son? Like, no. I don't need to know that he shoved people's feet into fucking meat grinders. I can guess at the atrocities,
I can use my I can just infer that he was a bad guy.
right? Just like I don't need to see him rape anybody in this film to believe that he sexually assaulted somebody. Like we can leave that out. Like we can do some heavy implying here, or like going back to the Abu Ghraib tape. I don't need to see what's on the Abu Ghraib tape. Maybe you can just show the character of Latif watching a TV. We just hear the noises and watch the reaction on his face to know that he's watching something really terrible. But no, I get yelled at because it looks like I'm watching a snuff film.
But no, it's my fault.
No. So, what are you drinking this evening?
I'm drinking a Kona Big Wave, liquid Aloha.
Kona Big Wave.
I
I am currently drinking. It is from a local brewery here. It's one of my favorite breweries. Also, they're not a sponsor of this, but
but
they
they
could
could
be.
be.
They could be. It's Dry Dock Brewing out of Aurora, Colorado. And what I am drinking is a blood orange blonde.
Ooh,
It's got this wonderful little, for those who can't see the can at home, it's got a beautiful artwork of like a jellyfish on it.
I see
So
that. It's pretty.
just keep riding the fruity beer train.
Bro, I intend to. I love fruity beer.
You know what Dry Dock used to make, I was such a big fan of it. It was like a blueberry smoothie beer. That was so great.
Ooh,
It was like a limited time run.
it does sound good.
Was there anything else in this film that you'd like to touch on?
Man, I don't remember who played Saddam, but he did a pretty good job.
I will say
Chilling.
I was he did do a good job. I was severely disappointed that they didn't accurately capture him having a flappy head. So
Hello, Satan. You're right. This is a travesty.
where was I supposed to go? Detroit? For those who are unaware, South Park has a running gag that Saddam uh, is in hell and is the boyfriend of Satan. And for some reason, the South Park guys decided to give him a flappy head like Canadians. So I will say though, both the actor who played Uday actually bears a pretty strong resemblance to him. So at least they got that going for him.
Yeah, they really knocked that one out.
But I think it's right. But I think it's probably about that time to rate this film. What do you think our custom rating for this film ought to be?
Dicks shot off.
Shot off penises.
Yes.
You know what I found funny about that whole his dick getting shot off thing was they actually hired a hypnotist to get him to walk again. Right?
Okay.
All the modern all the modern medicine in Iraq not good enough. We'll just bring in a hypnotist.
I mean, if it worked.
Yeah, I just found it to be so stupid, but whatever.
All right.
Shot off penises 1 to 5.
I'd have to say this is two cocks out of five shot off. I just couldn't keep too terribly invested in this movie. Don't get me wrong, the casting was great. Just
So what was your like biggest beef with it? What about it was hard for you to stay involved in it?
it just seemed to kind of drag on. If you ask me, like the whole contrived plot with him and his not really love interest, and she betrays him.
Right. And I mean also how many coke fueled parties can you watch?
I did really like the scene where he demands everyone get naked. It's totally what I would do.
Everybody naked. It's my birthday. Man, if only we all had that kind of power on our birthday.
Right?
You, give me your drink. What? It's my birthday. Oh, okay.
Oh, damn.
Oh, shucks. Give me the keys to your car. It's my car.
All right, so
Give me
I'll
the
take you.
keys.
I'll take your keys and you take mine. Then we should be good to drive.
Perfect plan. Nothing can go wrong.
All right, how many cocks shot off do you give this movie?
I I will say this film ran a bit longer than it needed to, and Uday's girlfriend really was an unnecessary character. I still found it to be a really interesting film. Even though this is 30 years ago, we're still it still feels like we're not that far removed from it, so there isn't a lot of films about this time or this conflict. And the fact that one of the few films we get about the Gulf War is this kind of deep look into the people behind it is very interesting to me. Um, but yeah, I would also say it's a hard film to watch just because of how graphic it is. And I know I've complained in the past about how I want films to be more accurate about violence and whatnot. But there were definitely moments in this film that the violence felt gratuitous. Like, I would like violence to be accurate, but also appropriate to a scene. Like, it should serve a purpose. Like, I don't want to see a random ass person get shot just for the sake of showing that this dude's a terrible person. We have an entire movie to demonstrate that. And it goes back to my statement about the Abu Ghraib film. Like, there's a way for us to understand that there are terrible things going on at Abu Ghraib without seeing instance after instance of it. So
Yeah.
I would give I'll give this a, a two penis shot off rating.
Let's see what Rotten Tomatoes gives it. So the tomometer says 55% and the audience score says 64%.
It's
Eh,
because of the boobs, isn't it?
probably. Got to go with the critics on this one.
Yeah. I think no, wait. Gettysburg was my lowest rated film, but I was in the minority on that one.
Which I get it.
But for the first time ever, we have a giveaway winner to
All right.
announce. For those who have checked in with our social medias and or listened to last week's episode, for this week we had a special giveaway in order to try and boost our Instagram following. Uh, we acquired a is called the Saddam Hussein rookie card. It's a meme at the moment, but the top uh, trading card company in the mid 90s came out with a trading card set that was all Desert Storm related. And one of the cards they had was of Saddam Hussein himself. And so henceforth, it was dubbed the Saddam Hussein rookie card. So we offered that up as well as one of our brand new uh, stickers that we just had made up. I think they look good if I do say so myself. We'll be making those available here in the near future. But our winner from the giveaway for this is one of our followers and listeners, Matt W. Congratulations. I will reach out to you to arrange shipping you your goodies. So, again, thank you for everybody who participated.
Well, I've got nothing else about this movie.
Sounds fair. What do we have? It's your turn. So, what's our next film on the docket?
Right. I am pleased to announce that the next movie we'll be reviewing is the 90s Disney classic Mulan. Quite one of my favorite Disney movies.
Let's get down to
To
business
business
to
to
defeat
defeat the
the
Huns.
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 Man, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, man. Love Mulan.
Plus, Mulan has more combat scenes in this than
Yeah, it has more to do with
Devil's
war.
Devil did.
More, well, I don't want to say more relevant, but more apt. Whatever.
Yeah, I I wanted to do a Gulf War film for this, but I also wanted something that isn't your typical. I wanted something that challenged the definition of a war film, which I think this did that. So the next time we hit the Gulf War, maybe we can do something more appropriate, like Jarhead or something.
Yeah.
But, anyways, next week will be Mulan. If you have nothing else, Jack, uh,
I've
for
got
all those
nothing.
who joined us, all right. For all those who joined us this week, thank you so much. If you like the show, please leave a review. The stars do matter. If you know anybody who's in search of a podcast, please share it with them. We always love sharing our work. If you're looking for more content from us, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram under the Armchair Commanders, where you can participate in such lovely contests as our Saddam Hussein trading card giveaway. We also have a YouTube channel called the History Apprentice channel. If you don't like the fact that the name is different, deal with it. And I can't remember if we've brought this up in the past yet, but we also have a Discord going now where we are hoping to integrate some live movie watching sessions with all of you. So head over to our Instagram or Facebook page to get the link to the Discord link. Until next week, I've been John,
And I'm Jack.
and we will catch you all later.
I'm not saying it.
I hate you. Okay,
Love you.
bye.